Larry Fink and Trump flipped the financial system on us. In today's video, I'm going to break down something that most people are not seeing. And here's why. Is we're stuck in the macro. Your emotions and most people's emotions look like the markets. Friday was a flash crash. Happened in 2020. It happened with FTX. There was a huge collapse on Friday, October 10th, 2025, and there will be more. And this is how people get wrecked. But I'm going to take you to a 30,000 foot overview. And we're going to take it all the way back to 2009. And then we're going to come back to present day. And I'm going to ask you to save this video. And I'm going to predict what's going to happen by 2030. Now, I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant. I have a crystal ball, but it's pretty easy to look at the facts, figures, numbers, logic. And when they tell you to look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. So I'm going to take you back to 2009. This is going to be a longer video. I'm just going to speak from truth of what I know in my studies. Is back in 2009, we came out of one of the biggest financial collapses in history, in America, in our living history, the financial collapse of the housing market. 2009, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa came together to de-dollarize. It says it right on their site. They are working to de-dollarize from the West. But that was a sign as we went into 2012, the Mayan calendar, they said it was going to end, but it was a transition of the old dying off and the new coming in. Rosie Rios said in 2012, who's on the board for Ripple, hint, Ripple, XRP, a bridge currency that's going to change the world. Rosie Rios sits on the board of directors for Ripple. And she was told in 2012 to reduce coin and cash usage, but she couldn't because Obama turned the rescue plan on full blast. So back up to 2009. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa came together to de-dollarize. And then all of a sudden, Bitcoin pops on the scene. Satoshi, a pseudonymous person, creates a fixed supply asset that's coded where nothing more can be printed, only 21 million in supply. Okay, very important. Write that down. It's a mechanism that is opposite of the inflationary US dollar. And since 1971, they could just print it. And they've been debasing your currency every single day. As you sit today in 2025, you've lost 11% of your purchasing power. So this is how I make my decisions. I don't do it off hype. I don't do it off emotion. I don't do it off comments. I don't do it off dates. I don't do it off riddlers. I do it off facts, figures, numbers, logic, and where I believe the big wave of energy is going. So Bitcoin's created in 2009. Ripple starts to come on the scene about 2012, 2013. They create XRP. XRP is a bridge currency that can radically transform the financial system as we know it. We have a massive liquidity crisis based on nostro vostro. Okay. When I send money to you through the SWIFT system, the SWIFT is just messaging. It doesn't transfer money through the SWIFT system. Okay, it goes up and through the Federal Reserve, through the SWIFT system. There's money on this side, money on this side. Boom, that is gone. So now Ripple created technology called XRP, distributed ledger technology, that changes the way money moves through the system. Bitcoin was created with a fixed supply that ironically is now going to fix the sovereign debt crisis in America. Okay, so let's fast forward. Remember Rosie Rios said, during a speech, she said you need a shock to the system to change consumer behaviors. She was having trouble reducing coin and cash usage because Obama turned the rescue plan on, printing machine on full blast with the rescue plan. So cash was moving through the system. And then boom, we all get hit globally with the pandemic in 2020. And by March 2020, our lives had changed dramatically. My life changed dramatically. They shut down my business. My mom is a great example. My mom is a cryptocurrency investor now. Up until that time, she balanced her checkbook on paper and went to her local bank. Well, by the end of COVID, her bank was shut down. She no longer did that type of banking. She started doing online banking. She started investing cryptocurrency. Hence, you need a shock to the system to change consumer behaviors. But during that time, Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon, Trump all told you that Bitcoin is a fraud. It's used for money laundering. Kind of like the CNN thing, right? Same conversation, same narrative, same thing was said. So we all thought Bitcoin was a fraud. I thought it was a fraud. I stayed away from it. And I got introduced to XRP in 2019. I started really going hard in 2020 on it. And then as we transitioned around 2023, everything started to change. We had the pandemic liquidation event, then we had FTX. Then all of a sudden, Larry Fink comes out on a news station and says, hey, listen, I made a mistake. And he did it again, which I'll show you in just a moment, in 2025, right after the flash crash. 48 hours later on 60 Minutes. In 2023, he says, I was wrong. It's a flight to quality. And then all of a sudden, Ray Dalio, who was not anti-Bitcoin, but has been predicting over the last 500 years exactly what happens in the rise and falls of superpowers, and said cash is trash. Robert Kiyosaki warned you back in 2013. All the really big people with the big money that really understand macro and microeconomics or control the macro and microeconomics all started to move towards and allocate some a little bit and some a lot more to Bitcoin. And then I found a video where Trump said about 3 years ago, he started getting involved in cryptocurrency through his sons. And now as we land in 2025, this is where it gets really, really, really important. Okay. This is why I don't believe in hype. This is why I don't make my decisions off Riddlers or any, the flash crash didn't bother me at all. I'm a long-term holder. Here's why. It's because there's a hidden taxation called inflation. If you don't understand how inflation erodes your buying power every single year, around 2 to 3% inflation every 35 years, your money gets cut in half. So you're inside of a hole, okay? Inflation is dirt. Since you've been born, they've been pouring inflation on you every single year. You were told to go to school, get a job, get a good credit score, get a 401k, and start piling debt in your backpack. So now you have a backpack on in a hole. They're pouring inflation on you, devaluing your currency that's not worth anything. And you keep pouring the wrong type of debt in your backpack and you keep sinking every single year. This is why they're moving into Bitcoin. And this is why what I'm about to show you is what's going to happen by 2030. This is not hype. This is not bullshit. This is facts, figures, numbers, logic. I'm not saying you have to invest in crypto, but what you need to do is understand that the middle class needs to wake up, that the system is changing. We will be on an even playing field monetarily by 2030. Okay. There's going to be a brand new form of currency, and it's going to move through the system in a distributed ledger technology type of way. You have to decide what the picks and shovels are going to be. You should be studying at a deep level what would save your family from a big economic collapse. But I'll tell you what, the middle class and the working class are going to suffer. It's going to look really good over the next 3 years because a lot of money is going to flood in the economy. But what happens when they print money and low interest rates? It debases your currency. So if you don't learn how to become an investor, if you don't learn how to not rely on somebody else and hope that you're going to retire, then you're going to end up on the wrong side of this. So this is why I make my decisions. This is why I tell you exactly what I'm doing on the back end of your video. I share with you exactly my portfolio, what I'm doing. I'm not saying you have to do that, but what you have to do is understand macro and microeconomics and how to beat inflation. So let's get into the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Okay, so this was posted on October 8th. This is Watch Your Guru. Okay, so they put BRICS makes 10 Eurasian countries. BRICS makes 10 Eurasian countries agree to curb the US dollar. Now, they've been saying that forever, right? But this is something to actually think about, right? So the US dollar is based on treasuries. Okay. Now, this is where it's going to get really, really interesting. I've showed you this video and I'll remind you. Okay. Do you guys remember this video that I showed you guys around the Russian? I think it was the Russian parliament. They're talking about the US stablecoin push. So Trump, the Genius Act, trumped everybody. Okay. The stablecoin uses 60%, I think it's 60% treasuries. Tether has 90% of the stablecoin market. Trump has the fastest growing stablecoin, USD1, through World Liberty Financial, their DeFi platform that is owned by Trump, his boys, and the Witkoff family, and his boys, Steve Witkoff and his sons. They came together to create World Liberty Financial and USD1, which is one of the fastest growing stablecoins. Trump, okay, Genius Act. The Genius Act stablecoins uses treasuries to make it 1-to-1. So Trump trumped everybody, took Bo Hines, he stepped down, he went over to Tether, which is foreign, brought Tether into the US. Then you got Cantor, Howard Lutnick, who is a commerce secretary for America, who's going to be a billionaire in Bitcoin on the back end of this year. Okay, was the CEO of Cantor, passed it on to his son, Brandon Cantor, who's running it now because Howard Lutnick is our commerce secretary. Cantor is the custodian for USAT Tether. Tether has 90% of the stable coin market. Okay, so let's watch this really quickly. We're going to watch this video. I'll read it to you guys because he's obviously speaking in Russian, and I will translate it, I guess. I don't speak Russian. We'll read it together.
Америка прямо сейчас
The U.S. is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets.
пытается поменять правила на рынке золота и криптовалют. Вспомните, какой
Remember the size of their debt, 35 trillion. And I'll break all this down on the back end. It's going to be a longer video. Hang with me.
у них долг. 35 триллионов долларов. В общем-то,
These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Okay. These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system.
это два альтернативных валютному сегменту мировых рынка. Действия
Washington actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals. This is exactly what I was sharing with you guys. And he, and then he said the same thing I've been saying.
Вашингтона в этом направлении отчетливо демонстрирует одну из главных американских задач. Они
to urgently address the declining trust in the dollar.
Очень хотят решить проблему снижения доверия к доллару. США
As in the 1930s and 1970s, the U.S. plans to solve its financial problems at the world's expense. Okay, we did the same thing in 1971, detaching from the gold standard.
Как это было и в 30-е, и в 70-е годы, будут решать свои финансовые проблемы за счет всего мира, загоняя
This time by pushing everyone into the crypto cloud.
Всех куда? В криптовалютное облако. Со временем,
over time, once part of the U.S. national debt is placed into stable coins, Washington will devalue that debt.
Когда часть госдолга США будет размещена в стейблкоинах, США обесценит этот долг. Еще раз простыми.
Put simply, they have 35 trillion currency debt. They'll move it into the crypto cloud, devalue it, and start from scratch.
Словами, у них сейчас валютный 35-триллионный долг, они его загоняют в крипту, в облако, обесценивают и начинают с нуля. Это для тех.
That's the reality for those who are so enthusiastic about crypto. So he's saying in a negative sense. I'll tell you what. Would you rather listen to him or the largest asset manager in the world that is on the board of trustees for the World Economic Forum? I'm not touting BlackRock. I'm not touting Larry Fink. But if you're worried about your income and your money and people are like, wow, you invest in Bitcoin and XRP is the mark of the beast. I'm like, you hold the US dollar, correct? It's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, who's the winners and losers here, right? Like when they mock Jesus, who do we give our taxes to? He's like, who's on the coin, man? Caesar. Give your taxes to Caesar. Give to God what is his. Gives me what is mine. Guys, it's a monetary system. We could argue all day. Bitcoin's a fraud. XRP's a fraud. It's a banker coin. The US dollar's a scam. You're putting your money in a bank and they're using it. It's a monetary system. It's just a form of energy. That's all it is. Everybody's attaching to it. It's a tool, right? We use the US dollar. We use banks. We pay our employees, right? It has its role, right? I store some money in the bank, but I usually transmute it into XRP and Bitcoin. Some people do gold. Some people could do silver. Some people believe in their 401k. I don't believe in the 401k. I've just done studies on how many people retire wealthy with a 401k. I study inflation, and inflation erodes your buying power. The US dollar, you exit out and you get taxed on the back end of your life and you have to wait for Social Security. That's not going to work. So I built my Capital DR strategy. It works. Okay. So just in 12 trillion BlackRock, this is what I showed you guys. Do you think it's ironic that all of a sudden, after the biggest flash crash, 19 billion was liquidated, that 60 Minutes has Larry Fink on? They talk about the 1929 flash crash, and then he says this.
I did say
this was literally 48 hours later.
I did say Bitcoin, because we were talking about Bitcoin then, was the domain of money launderers and thieves. But, the markets teach you have to always relook at your assumptions. There is a role for crypto in the same way there's a role for gold. That is, it's an
What did the Russian parliament guy say? Gold and crypto. There's a role for crypto. There's a role for gold.
Alternative for those. Look,
he said exactly what the guy said. It's an alternative to the global monetary system.
Looking to diversify, this is not a bad asset, but I don't believe that it should be a large component of your portfolio.
I don't believe it should be a large component of your portfolio, but we're the #2 holder in Bitcoin worldwide, and it's our #1 performing ETF, BlackRock. Yeah, I don't know. Seems to be going pretty well for them. Just in, Forbes says President Trump is now one of the largest Bitcoin investors on the planet, owning an estimated 807 million in BTC. In his term in office, President Donald Trump wanted little to do with cryptocurrency, tweeting in 2019 that crypto's value was based on thin air. Less than a decade later, Trump is now one of the largest Bitcoin investors on the planet, with an estimated 870 million in digital currency. Only a handful of other billionaires appear to own more, analyst says at Forbes magazine. Okay, so I didn't create the game, guys. I'm just teaching you the game. Okay, so now this is what you see. You see this chaotic stuff right here. You see this. Okay, this is the markets. They just look nuts, up and down, up and down. Okay, here's what I see. Let me bring you on my screen really quickly. Okay, you see this, and I see this. Okay, you see this in your bank account because it's a number that stays static, and I see this. So we've been like this. We're inverted. Okay, I use cash flow. I use cash. I pay my employees. I pay rent. I pay, but we pay our rent for our buildings. We mortgages, right? So I use cash for debts and non-negotiables. Outside of debts and non-negotiables, I transmute cash into deflationary assets that have fixed supply that beat inflation. That's simple. You could use gold, you can use silver, you can use real estate. I don't know. You have to study. I use XRP, Bitcoin. I'll share with you guys my top 7 in just a moment. I use XRP and Bitcoin. They both have fixed supplies. And it's worked really well for me. As the US dollar went down 24% from 2020 to 2024, my XRP went up 800 and my Bitcoin went up 200. But I don't sit there and watch these things. I don't just hold on to them and leverage up to the gills like these influencers are teaching you to do. Like, look what happened Friday, guys. Money is always moving through the system. You should never be all in on one asset class, ever. That's ridiculous. Study Richest Man in Babylon, the wisdom of King Solomon. Okay, do it biblically, guys. Understand, you got to move money. You got to build a fortress. You got to build the kingdom and then build a moat around the kingdom. Protection, protection, protection. Okay, so I go into appreciating assets. When I get some profit, we're going to put Bitcoin off the side. I transmute it down into protection. Okay, you want some protection for your money? Insure it. Nobody can touch insurance. So then I have this insurance component. Then I have leverage, not the type of leverage that everybody got liquidated, the type of leverage that is unliquidatable, which is insurance. Then I borrow on the right side. Everybody's into leverage, guys. People have auto loans, home mortgages, credit cards. That's the wrong type of leverage. I use debt to buy more cash flow. When the cash flow goes up, I buy more assets. With the cash flow, I pay off the debt. Your job is to beat inflation. So why do I take profits in the bull market? The flash crash Friday was a great example. The 2020 to 2022 was a great example. I saw people lose 80% of their money and then be pissed in 2022, 2023, 2024, and then panic or panic sell on the way up and the way down because they're like, oh, they're so frustrated. Like, we built ecosystems. We built cash flow. Okay. And then when the markets dropped, that's when we got financially freeze. We bought the dip. When it hit on Friday, I bought the dip. I was super excited to see XRP under $2. I couldn't believe it. We didn't panic. We didn't freak out. We love red. We celebrate red because we're convicted in what we're invested in. People comment about me investing in Bitcoin. I believe in it. As you can see, my conviction, I go a little bit deeper than just some X post. I go deep and I build my narratives, and that's how I win, because I'm convicted, disciplined, and consistent. If you're constantly listening to a bunch of different people and every minute you're like, should I do this? Should I do that? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be investing. You should be building a disciplined plan, building conviction, building an ecosystem, and feeding it. That's it. That's what you should be doing. And you should be putting on a long-term horizon to 2030 and reverse engineering it and celebrating the red because you believe so much in what you're holding. Because if you don't, you shouldn't be in it, because you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get wrecked. So here's how I do it. Okay, so this is Merlin. You can see the markets right now. They're red. The market cap, market cap went all the way down to 3.7 trillion. But remember what happened? Pandemic, flash crash, crypto went parabolic. FTX, flash crash, crypto went up, parabolic. We just had the flash crash on Friday. I'm telling you, wait till the back end of this year. Get ready, guys. You're going to forget all about this. This will be a distant memory. Okay. But then you're going to forget about this. And then you're going to get hyped up and you're going to be in euphoria. And then it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, guys. I promise you. Everybody's saying we're not going into a bear market. Well, we just went into a flash crash on Friday. There's going to be a bear market. I don't know how deep it'll be, but there will always be a bear market. That's what makes markets. There's a winner and there's a loser. Don't let these people, just study history, guys. It just flows. That's all it is. That's all it is. And if you get caught at the top, sliding back down, don't panic sell. Hold and buy more on the way down. Bring your dollar cost average down. If you believe. If you don't believe, you shouldn't be in it, right? Okay, so check this out. So Merlin, go down below in the description of my video. I'm the co-founder and creator of this. We designed this to help people, okay? You're going to get 30 days for free. This is the greatest crypto tracker on the earth. We built it 38,000 lines of code. We built this, okay? We built it based on solving a math problem. It keeps you organized. All your assets are in one place. Keeps you safe. This is an interface. Nobody can hack your crypto in here, okay? So if you're traveling around, use Merlin. Don't go on Coinbase. Don't go on, what? I'm not saying those are exchanges. It's not an exchange. See what I'm saying? It actually shows, let me show you this real quick. It actually shows you all your exchanges in one place. It's an interface. We have no access to your crypto. So somebody hacks this, they're hacking data. So when I'm traveling, I only look at Merlin. I never look on, because there's jack Wi-Fi's out there. They're going to jack your crypto, okay? So it has all the markets, and then you can set up a profit-taking plan. Boom. So you're like, how do I develop a profit-taking plan? Look at this, super organized. Hit your target, we send you an alert, okay? Keeps you organized, keeps you safe. Boom. How do you do it? We show you how to do it. We have how-to videos, okay? And if you're a in-person type person, we're old school. We have customer service. We literally can help you create a plan, a profit-taking plan, okay? So don't play games with your portfolio, guys. Okay, so here's my top 7 cryptos. I'm just very open and transparent with you guys. Please do your own research. I don't invest people's crypto. So if anybody's reaching out to you guys, we don't have an investment platform. Those are all scammers. We're educators, okay? I have a free education section. I also have programs down below that you can join, and join my Capital DR to learn my strategy I'm about to share with you guys, but I'm going to share with you right now. So I have top 7 cryptos. Our XRP by a long shot for my company and personally. We have a treasury for our company with Bitcoin and XRP and some other small ones, okay? We have a dividend strategy as well. I think every company should have some sort of treasury like this. Just my opinion. XRP by a long shot. Bitcoin, what time is it? Oh, shoot, I'm running out of time. Bitcoin number 2. Okay, Solana number 3. Those are my top 3. Those will be my core 3 that I'll continue to consolidate into. Number 4 is XLM. Okay, number 5 is WFI. It's climbing up the ranks there. HBAR is number 6, and VeChain is number 7. Yes, I have ADA, I have Algorand, I have there's a CRO, but those are my top 7, and the top 3 by a long shot are XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. Those are my biggest holdings, my largest part of my portfolio. Okay, as you can see, if you followed me since 2020, I've matured my portfolio. Okay, I've learned. I'm only studying billionaires and watching how they make their moves, and I've learned to get out of the hype train. I've learned to stop watching too many people, because everybody should follow their own opinion. The goal is to form your own. That's the key. I was following a bunch of different people and getting wrecked. Oh, this is the next thing. Ethereum's going to go here. Oh, and you're constantly moving. You're going to get wrecked. I guarantee you. Pick 3 and go all in and stick with it. Not all in. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Have conviction in those and just accumulate. Just accumulate. Hold, accumulate. Hold, accumulate. If you want to take some off the table and it's profiting, make sure you're doing something with that money. Don't make it too complicated. Okay, so what I do is I create cash flow. 2020 to 2022, I started companies. I created cash flow. I was listening to all the gurus. 7 sources of income. Now I have 6 companies. It's like, I don't know about that. I want to be a Warren Buffett style investor now. So I have 6 companies. 3 are in profit. 3 are, 2 are heavy in profit now. And it took a long time. I've been at this for a long time, guys. I'm not new on the block. I've been grinding since 2017. My first company, I left corporate America, the banking system, and I started my first company in 2017. Failed 5 times. So I have 3 that are heavy in profit. 2 are 7-figure. 1 will hit 8 figures here very, very soon over the lifetime. So we're God willing, we'll get to our first 8-figure year. I think I guess probably 16 months. So I know next year we'll hit it. So we'll get 2 months to knock it out, but I think we can get there. I have my 3rd that's heading to 7 figures. And so it's kind of like riding a bike once you figure out the systems, process, structure. But It's a lot of work, man. So that's why do I bring that up, is because everybody's telling you go buy businesses and do this. And it's like, I'm starting to fall in love with being a Warren Buffett style investor. So that's my second cash flow strategy. So I'm getting heavy into cash flowing dividends. Okay. And I'm using options like synthetic options that are high risk dividends. Okay. But I'm de-risk DR, my capital DR is de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Okay. So I only risk 10% of my income and 10% of my portfolio in these, but I de-risk. So I had this cash flow flying off of my businesses. I kept my bills really low. I go into Bitcoin and XRP with excess capital, excess cash outside of debts and non-negotiables. That's where I store it. I go 10% in here. Cash comes off, flies off. Because this is high risk, I de-risk out into Bitcoin and XRP. So I'm constantly stacking Bitcoin and XRP. Solana every month, WFI every week. So I'm working to get those bags up. But Solana every month, XRP every day, Bitcoin every day. And then every time it dips, I buy a little bit more. Okay. And then when I profit, when Trump got elected, my first target for XRP, 50%, I'm holding 50% forever. So don't freak out. I'm not selling all my XRP. I exited 10% of 50%, had a nice little liquidity event stuff. Then you go cash value life insurance protection. You want to, everybody's like, protect your wealth. Nobody can touch it. Insurance. Nobody can touch my insurance. So I'm working to, over the next 10 years, to put as much as I can into my cash value life insurance. And I'm going to start annuity this year to get cash for life when I'm 60. I'm all about cash flow. Okay. Then I have leverage, not the kind of leverage where everybody got liquidated. I focus on insurance. There's zero liquidation risk. It's absolutely phenomenal. Borrow 5%, beat the hurdle rate, crush it in Bitcoin by 50. We can go deeper into that a little bit later. Oh, on my education videos, I break that down. I told you it's going to be a longer video. And then on Bitcoin side, example, low leverage. I only leverage 25% of my overall Bitcoin. I'll if I won't get liquidated because I can just keep right sizing the liquidation or right sizing the LTV, but I only leverage on that side to buy cash flow that pays things off. So I bought my insurance firm. We actually paid it off last week. I'm very proud of our team. We're a debt-free insurance brokerage, which is awesome. So we paid that off. But that's how you do it, guys. We pay the debt off. Okay, we're a very low debt business. Even on our other business sides, we have very low debt. We run low debt. Our leverage is coming from asset side. So we started to really rebalance everything. We have low debt, we have high cash flow and high asset base. Well, I'd like it to be a lot higher. So all we did is math, right? Money compounds every 7 years at 10%. I've set a goal of valuation for my companies where I'd like to be, personally where I'd like to be. The goal that I set for 2025, I hit. And my goal is to be a multimillionaire by 2025. So if I take the businesses and what I've done personally, I was able to become a multimillionaire, which is like 1 million or above, right? And the next goal is to get to 8 figures over the next, I think I can get there in the next 3 years pretty easily. But I want to go well beyond that. And the only reason why is for my family and my ecosystem. I love building ecosystems. I'm a very simple dude, man. Somebody asked me the other day when I saw a comment, do you wear the same shit every day? I'm like, I do. I have swim trunks on right now. I have no shoes on. I have a tank top and my boat's out there. I'm a very simple dude, man. Like I got a boat. I got a badass family. I'm like, I got a good life, man. I got really a tight circle, man. And I'm very, very strategic on who's in my circle. Tight circle. I'm in swim trunks and a tank top every day. Amazon $3, man. I love nature. I love boating. I don't need much, man. I got probably spend the most money on my family's vacations for memories and my biohacking, man. I spend a good amount on biohacking and I love God and Jesus, man. Pretty simple dude. I love spending my money on is my people, man. I love seeing my people succeed. We do profit sharing for our company. I love giving bonuses to my team. I love seeing my team win. I love seeing all the people in my ecosystem, the divine feminine being taken care of. Like that feels good to me. And that's why I like money. That's why I like energy. That's why I like it. It's cool to take care of people and it's cool to build stuff and it's cool to create. So that's what's important to me. Comment what's important to you. And so that's what I do. I do it for the kingdom of God and I honor God in everything I do. And so I love you guys, man. And I hope this stuff hits your heart well. I really do. I know this is long videos. I repeat the same things every day. That's strategic. There's a reason behind that. If you made it this far, most people will be like, you say the same thing. I'm like, did you watch the video? That's the point. So if you made it this far, say that's the point. Warriors, let's get your shit together. God bless you. Love you guys.